Can you believe that in the United States of America, we have lost over 1 million lives due to COVID-19 related deaths? The pandemic began in late 2019, and since then, over 1 million families have lost their loved ones. What do we do to prevent this? My name is Haura, and I believe that COVID-19 vaccines need to become mandatory. I will now show you my guest audience. For all of time, vaccines have been shown to be very controversial. However, science has always shown that vaccines save lives, so many lives over time. Researchers have shown that those who become ill with COVID after becoming vaccinated are often much less severe and have less significant side effects. In our current world, in 2022, the CDC has explained that for individuals who are not vaccinated, they are taking up more hospital beds with being ill with COVID than those who are not. The troubling situation in our current hospitals is that the healthcare workers are put into a tricky situation where their patients are unvaccinated individuals who are sick with COVID, whereas they had the choice to become vaccinated. So this is a very selfish decision for those who become ill, because it could have been fully preventable for those to not become as ill due to the strength that the COVID vaccine provides for those individuals. So I believe that we need to establish stronger policies to mandate vaccines in the United States of America. One of the number one policies that could be established is to educate more individuals. So many individuals fear vaccines because they believe that it is new, and COVID had begun in late 2019. So since then, the vaccine is relatively new for all individuals. However, the vaccines have been developing for over hundreds of years. A great example is at one point the flu was the number one pandemic in the world. However, a vaccine was established, and now the flu is not a pandemic for us. It is just a common cold. However, many people are believing that the COVID-19 vaccine was completely made out of nowhere. Little do they realize that vaccines are often connected and correlated, and they all follow the same trajectory. Eventually, in the future, COVID will no longer be a pandemic. COVID will become the common cold, and people will not become as ill with it because a vast majority of the population will be vaccinated. In the United States of America, currently in June of 2022, 73% of Americans have received their first vaccine, and only their first vaccine. This counts as an incomplete vaccination, meaning that they are not protected against COVID because they had not followed through and received their second dose. However, 66% of Americans have received 2 vaccines, meaning that they have completed the CDC guidelines for the basic round of vaccinations. And this should protect individuals, however, it is not them being considered fully vaccinated. 31% of Americans have received all 3 vaccines, including the booster vaccines. This indicates that they are fully vaccinated by CDC guidelines, meaning that they are the least likely to become ill with COVID-19. They may still contract it, however, they will not become severely ill. In our current world, education resources are often of lack. We no longer have the problem where accessibility to vaccines is current because the United States is so avidly pushing vaccines. The problem more so lies within the individuals who desire to not receive education about it. So one of the main goals is that we need to provide tools to show benefits of the vaccines, and we need to provide more resources for individuals to become educated about the topic. The troubling part is that some individuals choose that they do not want to educate themselves, and that makes pushing the vaccine mandate much more difficult. A great idea for us to push vaccines being more mandatory is to create stronger restrictions. If you are not vaccinated, you should not be allowed to do things that vaccinated people can do. Daily functions should be restricted for those who are unvaccinated, and that that shows that being unvaccinated really does put everyone else at risk. So why should individuals who put other people at risk be able to live the same lifestyle as those who are vaccinated and who are protecting themselves and everyone around them? One of the reasons that this topic has always been controversial is that people disagree with vaccines and say that it is my body and I want to choose what becomes injected into it. However, this situation is a global pandemic, and the lives of all of the vaccinated individuals are more important than the lives of the people who are not vaccinated. In our current pandemic, being unvaccinated is considered a selfish decision because they are putting their own lives in front of everyone else around them. They are choosing to not protect everyone else after statistics have shown that becoming vaccinated helps not only yourself, but everyone that you are exposed to around you. The CDC has expressed that the number one age for individuals to become vaccinated is 65 years old and older, as well as those who are considered immunocompromised and ill. Why would someone choose to not become vaccinated if it could save someone else's life? This is why we need mandatory vaccines. These individuals who are older and who are ill are vaccinated because they cannot handle becoming ill with the disease. So an individual who is healthy and believes that they do not need the vaccine is selfishly making the decision that they are okay, that they don't need the vaccine. However, if they were to transmit it to someone else whose body cannot tolerate it, then they could potentially be ending someone else's life. This is another reason why mandatory rules for vaccines need to be established. With limiting areas in which unvaccinated individuals have access to, this would make their life much more difficult, resulting in one of two things. The first option could be that they simply leave the United States of America because they will not have access to the same stores. They will not be able to go to their college campus because in our current world, so many colleges are restricting individuals who are unvaccinated due to the possible exposure that it could cause for everyone else who is vaccinated. And this would result in them not being able to have leisure activities and not being able to live their quality of life. The other option is to simply get vaccinated and to protect both themselves and everyone around them, which is a selfless thing to do. And it would no longer put everyone around them at risk. Many individuals could also argue that a complication of COVID vaccines is that they are allergic to different types of vaccines. However, a loophole around this would be to get a medical opinion and investigate further research through medical doctors, such as the CDC. I'm sure there are guidelines indicating what the vaccine holds, rather than just individuals basing it off of their own opinion and their own fear of vaccines. Another complication with vaccines is that many people will say that they have religious reasons for not becoming vaccinated. However, COVID-19 vaccines save lives, and who wouldn't want to save someone else's life? What religion would prevent someone from saving someone else's life? So this shows that COVID-19 vaccines really can be pushed and can be become more mandated. In our current world, so many lives are lost due to violence and other reasons, so we should do everything in our power to save lives lost from COVID-19. We have a solution to minimize the amount of deaths from COVID, so why not use it? The goal for everyone in the world should be to minimize lives lost from COVID-19 if we aren't able to mitigate the lives lost from everything else. For the audience, some things that we can do to help make COVID-19 vaccines more mandated is to just simply educate other people about vaccines and the benefits that vaccines can provide. And also to express to everyone that becoming vaccinated is a selfless thing to do, and it makes you an amazing person. And that not getting vaccinated is simply a selfish action. So it is time to end the controversy of vaccines, because your action of not getting vaccinated could end someone else's life. Saving lives should be all of our number one goals in the world. Thank you, and I am excited to see all vaccines become more mandated.